Yeah, guys, today new topic we are going to learn, and that is the DC characteristic. Means first the heading is characteristic of op-amp. In that first we are going to learn about DC characteristic of op-amp. Okay. Okay, operational amplifier characteristic. So what are the things coming under that? Guys, first characteristic is differential gain. And it is represented as AD. So if I am writing the V0 equation for the operational amplifier with respect to AD, it will be AD into V1 minus V2. So from the equation, you can imagine what should be the definition for AD. So here AD is the constant of proportionality and AD is the gain with which the differential amplifier amplifies the difference between two input signal. Okay, that's why it is called as differential gain of the differential amplifier. Guys, you got? So AD can be expressed in terms of dB. Is in terms of dB. You better make a note above 20 log 10 AD. You have to represent this in dB scale. What is the value of AD? Means differential gain. In the question, if it will ask, means you have to represent this in 20 log whatever the value it has been asked in the question, or suppose already in the dB it has been given and all the units are in the normal scale, again you have to convert all those things to dB scale. Okay, or vice versa. In that way you have to make the output. Then next one is common mode gain. It is represented as AC. D stands for differential, A stands for gain. From that point of view only we have to write all this AC, AD like that. So ideally what we have learned, V0 must be 0, right, for ideal op-amp. So but practically when we see, this is not the case. V0 is not always 0. So it depends upon difference between the voltage. Okay, and also it depends upon the average of the common level of the two inputs. So that's why it is called as common mode signal, and it is represented at VC. So you just write down common mode voltage. VC represents. So what does the VC stands for? It is the average of the two input signals. So suppose V1 and V2 are the applied input signal. If we take the average in between that, it represents the value of the VC. And the gain at which it amplifies the common mode signal to produce the output is called as common mode gain of the differential amplifier, which is denoted as AC. Okay, so all total, if I will represent the V0 in terms of the common mode gain and the difference of the gain, it is AD and AC, but with respect to that the different signals are also associated with that. So how we wrote that V0 equal to AD whole into V1 minus V2, here we have to represent AC into what? VC in terms of common mode signal. So all together, if I will write down V0, what I can represent? If both the signals are existing upon the differential amplifier or the operational amplifier, how I can write? The total output of any differential amplifier can be represented as V0 equal to AD VD plus AC VC. So here you have to remember some point, guys. for ideal differential amplifier, some characteristic you have to remember, or some property. AD must be infinite. Then AC must be 0. Guys, this equal to is must be. Okay, just to write in a short format, I am just writing equal to 0 so that you can remember it quickly. And suppose for we are writing V0 should be 0. So at that time, what should be the condition? If we have to make the total output voltage 0, at that time, both of the input must be equal. So this is the theoretical case or ideal case, but practically due to mismatch in the internal circuitry, there is some output available for V1 and V2, and gain AC is also practically not 0. So here what we have to do, we can define the CMRR. Why not this V0 is 0? Okay, practically, and why this is AC is not 0, at that time we have to define the CMRR. What does the CMRR stand for? The CMRR stands for the common mode rejection ratio. Okay, so how do we define this CMRR? So look at the case, guys. When some same input voltage we are going to apply to both the inputs of the operational amplifier or the differential amplifier, which is said to be operated in a common mode configuration. Okay, so at that time many disturbing signals or noise signals are also appearing along with that common mode input signal to both the input terminals of the differential amplifier. So at that time, that common signal which is appearing along with the noise signal, that should be rejected. That noise signal or the disturbing signal to the applied input signal must be rejected, or I can say that we have to isolate the required input signal. So the ability of the differential amplifier to reject a common mode signal is expressed by the ratio which is called as common mode rejection ratio. Okay, and it is represented as CMRR, which is represented as rho, and this is the mod of AD by AC. Okay, so what we learn at here, ideally AC is 0. Guys, if ideally AC is 0, what should be the CMRR?
Infinity, ma'am.
Yes,
Infinite.
it is infinity. Always remember CMRR value is very high, and it is infinitive if AC is 0. So how do we represent this in dB? Same 20 log of the CMRR value. In dB. Okay. Got up to this? Now how do we represent the total voltage of the operational amplifier with CMRR? How do you feel the presence of CMRR? As I said, CMRR is the ability to reject the common signal available with the desired input signal, and we have to reject that. So how do we reject that, and how do we only define the V0 is the signal which is only the multiplying factor of the ADVD? First we have to see the case, the presence of CMRR in the output voltage. Then only we will cancel out the CMRR and we will get the desired signal. So the next one is the representation of output voltage in terms of CMRR. V0. Okay. Guys, I hope you are writing yes or no.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. ADVD and ACVC. This is the term we have learned. How do we represent the total voltage in terms of the differential voltage and the common mode voltage with their differential gain and common mode gain? Okay. So the same equation I can represent in terms of ADVD if I will take as common that 1 plus RF by R1, the same thing. Whole ADVD take the common 1 plus ACVC whole divided by ADVD. Right, guys? So how do I make the equation in terms of CMRR? Any idea, guys? The same ADVD will be there, but 1 plus 1 divided by ACVC is there, no? So I have to make this to reverse form, AD by AC, right? Into VC by VD. Correct, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is this term stands for? This AD by AC?
CMRR.
CMRR 1 by CMRR dot VC by VD. Now guys, see, this can be one part and this whole can be one part, right? The additive term is one part and the multiplicative term are another part. So now you tell me, if I want to represent my V0 only in terms of ADVD, so which concept is applicable at here? Guys, I have already shown you CMRR value is very high, very high in terms of how much? Infinity, right?
Infinity.
Yeah. So this term is infinity. So what will be this part? This part, the second part. 1 by
Zero.
infinity, 0. So what does the V0 stands for? V0 equal to only ADVD. So here you can remember the concept, guys. So this equation shows that practically the CMRR value is very high or very large. So even though VC and VD are also available at here, the output is mostly proportional to the different signal, which is your VD, and the differential gain AD. Okay, and the common mode component is rejected at here. In this way, you can reject your common mode component. You got it, guys? How we have defined that? Number
Yes,
3,
ma'am.
DC characteristic. This is very important. Previously, what are the characteristics we learned, guys? Can anybody just repeat? Differential gain, common mode gain, CMRR. Right? This is fourth, I think. Fourth characteristic. Yeah. DC characteristic. So there are different sub-part of the DC characteristic. Write down, guys. Input bias current. Second one, input offset current. Third one, input offset voltage. Then the fourth one is thermal drift. No, one more is there, total output offset voltage. And the fifth one is thermal drift. Guys, as per your syllabus, this topic should be taught in the class at the beginning. But if I will teach this at the beginning, you will not get the property of the op-amp at the beginning. That's why I choose to teach this topic. After learning the ideal op-amp and the practical op-amp and different configuration and application of op-amp, this characteristic if you study now, you can easily understand the concept of the op-amp. Okay, so the first one, input bias current. Whether my handwriting is visible properly to your side, or I will reduce the thickness of the pen. Is this visible
Visible,
properly?
ma'am.
Okay, fine. So input bias current. So let's see what is the meaning of this, guys. Here just see the case of the op-amp where two inputs can be represented only in terms of current. So suppose without any feedback, right? So here for the negative current which is existing at the negative input terminal is represented as IB minus, and this is IB plus for the current associated with the positive input terminal, and here V0 is the output voltage. Okay, so this is the representation of the input bias current. So this is figure part A, and the second figure. Let's see, without feedback it is existing, guys. You got, for the ideal case these two currents are existing, which is called as the bias current. For the negative input terminal it is IB minus, for the positive input or non-inverting input it is IB plus. Then suppose I want to represent the same bias current with the help of the feedback. So first I will choose the first configuration, inverting configuration of the op-amp. How the figure will be? The figure can be represented as with feedback, right? So what we are writing, this is feedback resistor RF and this is R1, and here the trick is there, guys. Just write down, suppose this is the applied input voltage VI and it is the voltage of 0 volt, and this terminal make it as ground, and here as I said this is IB plus, this is your IB minus. Okay, and this is our V0 terminal. Here if I will represent I1 below R1 which is equal to 0. Okay, so you write down, this is inverting amplifier with bias current. The second figure, inverting amplifier with bias current. So how do we represent? The bias current is a total bias current of the amplifier that can be represented as IB, and IB can be written as IB minus plus IB plus by 2. So it is the average of the currents entering into the negative and positive input. It means inverting and non-inverting input terminals of the op-amp. Okay. So its value for IC 741 is IB value for IC 741 is 500 nanoamp. Okay. So suppose I'll represent the V0 equation. V0 equal to IB minus into RF or IB plus into RF, anything I may write. And IB value is 500 nanoamp, and let's consider if RF equal to 1 mega ohm. What should be the V0 value, guys? If by default value for bias current is 500 nanoamp, into 1 mega, how much it is? 500 millivolt, right?
0.5.
0.5 or 500 millivolt?
Ma'am, 0.5 volts.
Okay, 0.5 volt. So guys, you just check your circuit. What is the V in? Guys, what is V in?
0 volt.
0 volt. But by the property of the op-amp, how much bias current is existing previously, that will drive your V0 to 500 millivolt if this RF value is 1 mega ohm. If it is a different value, your output will show that kind of value. So what do you conclude from this concept, input bias current? Without the applied input voltage, there is the existing of the output voltage, pre-existing. Yes or no? Guys, are you getting or not? In the same figure, just I told you V in is 0, take the RF component, that's all. Without any input, the output is showing some value. It means when you connect some supply voltage, this output is also appending to that row, no? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So later I will tell you how do we compensate this effect. Bias, which is called as bias compensation. Now only I will tell you. Okay. So this is the reason we have to use the technique for bias compensation, and there we have to use externally connected resistor, which is called as R compensating resistor or bias compensating resistor. Okay. So how do we do that? So that is very important, guys. And one more thing, what you have learned, as I told, without the presence of input, the output is showing some value, or we can say that the output is driven to 500 millivolt with zero input because of the bias current. And so to amplify a low level of signal, suppose for the case of millivolt or nanovolt or 0.5 volt, some low level of signal, it is unacceptable. So this effect can be compensated by using R comp. Okay. So what is R comp? How does it compensate? Let's see in the same figure itself. Inverting configuration, but with the presence of R comp. Now we will find out. RF, R1, and here applied V in is 0, and the direction is positive and negative, and here we are going to apply the R comp, and this is V0. So what is the value of R comp, guys? Just write down here the current associated is IB plus and it is IB minus, right? Now you can imagine the current, what kind of current associated at the inverting and non-inverting input terminal, IB plus and IB minus. Okay, and here because this end is grounded and this is also 0, how much voltage will be there in between these two potential? That will also become 0 volt. Now imagine one voltage is appearing across this R comp. What is the value of that voltage? We don't know, but as we have learned that without the presence of input, the output is generating, so that we have to imagine that at RComp also one voltage is associated at this terminal. So that voltage suppose is V1, and what should be the direction of that? It should be positive at here and it is negative at here. With respect to ground, suppose consider V1 is positive. Similarly, let's imagine one more voltage V2 at here, and just take this outside. This is I1 and I2 will be from this end, because this end is 0, no? So we have to give the direction of I2 at here. If I2 is approaching this terminal, this will be positive and this is negative. So V2 is associated at the feedback loop, and where we have taken the feedback loop? At the negative input only. Okay, just remember this concept. Why I am telling, later we may utilize this. Okay, now just label this as, this is node A. Okay, so apply KVL, guys. Where do we apply KVL? Which loop we have to apply KVL? Vi is 0. Which loop we have to apply KVL? Output loop, no? Vi to V0 side. Yes or no? Now apply KVL in this loop, the whole loop, Vi to V0 side. Okay, I am writing the equation, just see. Apply KVL. So if I will write down this one, this is how much, guys? This is V1. Where this V1 will appear? This is plus V1 or minus V1. With respect to ground, this is positive. But this is appearing at where? Who can say? The same V1 is appearing at node A or not? Guys, but
Yes,
as
ma'am.
I said, but here what is the difference at these two potential? What is the difference? 0 volt, no? In between these two terminal, yeah. So if I will take the loop from here to here, because I cannot pass inside, right? So if I will take the summation of the whole voltage which is appearing at here, because our input side is totally 0, we are not considering this one. So if I will take this negative voltage minus of V1 plus 0 volt, which is appeared at here, okay, plus V2 minus of V0 equal to 0, okay. So here I can check that what is V0, V0 equal to V2 minus V1, yes or no? So by selecting proper value of the R compensating resistor, V2 can be cancelled with V1 and the output voltage V0 will become 0. Guys, you write down, by properly selecting R comp, V2 can be cancelled with V1. It means both V1 and V2 should be equal. Then only V0 will become 0. Then now the question is arising at here. What is the value of R comp then? How do we select the value of R comp so that it will make this V2 to be cancelled out with this V1? Okay. So now we have to check this. Guys, if you see the circuit at here, V1 can be written as IB plus into R comp. Similarly, what is IB plus then? V1 by R comp. Right? At this node, if you check here, IB plus is associated with your non-inverting input terminal and R comp is there. B equal to IR. What is I? B by R. So here we are finding IB plus. So at node A, if you write, check your figure. With respect to node A, we can write what is I1? I1 equal to 0 minus of V1, right? Divided by R1. And what is I2? Check your figure and tell me I2. V2 by RF, no? Check your figure, guys. Guys, what is I2? So, to make V0 S0, what we have to do? We have to consider V1 equal to V2. That assumption we have taken. So, in the previous equation, as I have written, I1 equal to V1 by R1 and I2 equal to V2 by RF. The same equation can be written as V1 by RF. I2 equal to V1 by RF. So apply KCL at node A. What do you get, guys? Which current is associated at this node A? IB minus equal to I2 plus I1. Now you tell me what is the value of I2. I2 we got V1 by RF plus V1 by R1, which represents the I1. So this can be represented as V1 R1 plus RF whole divided by R1 into RF. Right? So now assume IB plus equal to IB minus. So what we can write at here, IB minus, we got that. And now we are assuming IB plus equal to IB minus. So V1 into the same term, take numerator and denominator, just exchange that. V1 into R1 plus RF whole divided by R1 into RF. What can be represented as V1 by R comp? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the value of R comp at here, guys? R1 into RF whole divided by R1 plus RF, right? So this is the resistor we are using to compensate the effect of input bias current. By properly selecting R comp means R comp is nothing but it is depending upon the R1 and RF only. So if you properly select that R1 and RF, automatically that R comp will compensate the value of bias current. Guys, you got up to this? This is all about your input bias current. Guys, that's all for today. For attendance sake, you just type yes in the chat box. If you have any doubt regarding this topic, you may ask me. Do you have any doubt? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
No, ma'am.
Okay, done.